What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Conversation Station. This episode, I'm going to be doing a highlight episode where I highlight a content creator. Sometimes I'll be highlighting content creators, artists, comedians, or musicians, or just anybody I find interesting. This episode, I'm going to be doing a highlight on Yola. He is a content creator out of Merced, California. I'm personally from Turlock, so I became a fan of his just because he was close to my area at the time. Now he lives in another area, but he still visits Merced frequently and does a lot of stuff for there and does all kinds of giveaways and little stash spots and stuff like that. His content has been really interesting to watch these last few years. He has blown up an amazing amount, especially for somebody in the weed content creation community, because as we've seen, as I've seen through what he said, problems he's had arise through both YouTube and Instagram as well as other platforms, that it's really not easy to be a weed content creator and not get blocked or flagged or anything like that, because you can't control who watches your videos, and sometimes obviously people of underage end up getting into it, or things like that, or just people who don't like that stuff and they flag it for whatever reason. So I've heard over the years of him having problems with stuff like that. So it seems a little bit more steady now. He has his podcast, the Dope as Usual podcast, which is extremely fun, awesome, funny, and honestly feels like just hanging out with some of your friends around a table smoking and talking shit. And that's probably the best part about it, is like you just feel like you're one of the guys at the table. Love that podcast. It's really awesome how many guests he's been able to have throughout, like, just the whole time of the podcast. They've just gotten nothing but better. The names have gotten more surprising and more cooler, and he even brings some unknown people that are just really cool, and it shines a light on them, and they're extremely funny, and it brings way more attention to them, which is awesome as well as having huge names that we all know and love. And to see who he's going to have next, honestly, every time it's like it feels like a huge announcement, because you just never know who it's going to be. He also does like the live chats when he drops an episode, and I think that's really cool. He's really interactive with his fans. He says whatever you want to call him, Yola, Thomas. He's really cool, really like personable. And that's one thing I love about YouTube creators, is when they are just, a regular person, as well as everything that they are, YouTube creator, big, person and all that, personality and stuff like that. But, when they're able to show their realness and just be a genuine person, that to me is what matters. And that's what makes me stick around as a fan of that content creator. So that has been a huge drive of why I've been a fan of his just, throughout this time. He's documented a lot of his, life and just his, ups and downs with this thing. He started his Push Trees clothing company in 2013. And I think that's around the time that I became a fan. It might have been a year or two before. I'm not really sure. But it was around that time where I just, became aware of him, and I just became a huge fan. And ever since then, like I said, I just really can't stop watching, because the growth is just really cool. And he really does show that, any stoner from the valley can do whatever they want to do if you really put your mind to it. And I think that's an extremely important message, especially from where we come from. That just, to me, it's important. And I think that's really cool. And it's something that, over time, I don't think that's went away at all. So that part to me is really awesome, and just being part of the weed community and being a good symbol of that, is really awesome too, because you just never know with, content creators how things are going to go. But with him, it's been nothing but an awesome, cool incline, and he posts regularly that his, goal is to chill and make cool videos and make cool friends and have fun. And I think that's, what we want to see from any content creator and anybody just who's trying to, put forward that type of lifestyle. Less drama, more cool stuff. And he certainly does. He brings it every time. Like I said, those podcasts really do feel like just sitting around at the table with the guys. So I think that's, really important for, that's people like me that, don't have time to, watch or hang out with people a lot of the time. Use those videos to just kind of watch and laugh and shoot the shit and get back to work and do what you got to do. But he's definitely a content creator to keep an eye on, because, as I said, it's just going to keep going up. Who's going to end up on that podcast, you have no idea. He has his guy there with him, Marty, who just is awesome and does an awesome job conversating and keeping everything going. And just watching all, three of whoever the three is, or, whatever the group is, it's just always a fun time. Like I said, it's always a personable experience, a real experience, and I think everybody always has a lot of fun on that podcast. And just the fact that they've been able to go this long and do as much as they've done is really cool. And honestly, I can't wait to see what he does next. But yeah, he's definitely a content creator that would be interested in interviewing at some point when I get definitely on my way and get more interviews under my belt. I appreciate any time you spend watching my videos, and thank you, and I hope to see you again.